Welcome to Life by Design, episode 322.
Welcome to Life by Design. I'm your host, Dr. Chris Jug, and I'm not joined, as always when you hear my voice, I'm not joined by Dr. Jamie Richards. Together, we are the creators of Life by Design with many locations worldwide. Each week on the show, we discuss the principles and the practice of Life by Design. And on today's show, I am talking about, does more free time make you happy? And Jamie, I know you're going to listen because I listen to every show, and I know you do too. It's much harder. I did like 5 or 6 takes of the intro before I got it right. I know I'm always giving you a hard time, but I just thought that I would share that with you because it's a lot harder than it seems. So the topic for today is, does free time make you unhappy? So let me rewind a little bit and talk about how it is that I got to this point. And after many recommendations from Dr. Mike, from Dr. Jamie, and many other people that liked the book, I bought the hard copy, as I always do, to Digital Minimalism by the author is Cal Newport. And it's a book that makes the claim to either remove social media or spend as a minimum amount of time on social media. And I'm not going to lie, for various reasons that we've covered many times over the podcast, I did not agree with the first part of the book. But when we started talking about some of the ways, there's 2 major things that stuck out in my mind that really excited me. One of them is a topic for another day, and that's social media's intrusion, or even just our phones and our sense of distractions, intrusion on our solidarity, and the importance of spending time alone with our thoughts and time to reflect and connecting some of the big dots. And I thought that was really powerful because when I look at my life, a lot of my biggest breakthroughs and best ideas have come when I've been just alone thinking by myself. And he's right. It is becoming harder unless you're very conscious and aware and you plan for these things. It is a lot harder to get that time alone, to get that thinking time. And the second one, which was really powerful and which is the topic of today's podcast, is this idea of free time, the mind's requirements, and is more of this free time making us unhappy? So a couple of things. I mean, everything that I'm going to be paraphrasing this part of the book. It's been about 3 weeks since I finished it, and you know how this stuff goes. You forget a lot of the stuff. I mean, you remember how you felt around the best ideas. So my point in telling you that is I'm going to be paraphrasing it. And when I've looked online to try to find some research that supports this idea, it's been scarce. So, I mean, most of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about is just my opinion. That doesn't mean that it's not going to be valuable. It doesn't mean that you can agree with me or disagree with me. It's just my thoughts and what I've experienced in the past and what I've been doing since I've experienced this and how that's made a positive impact on my life. So happiness, to finally roll into the conversation around these things. I think happiness to me and into my life and what I advocate around my morality and with Life by Design, because I can speak freely for all of the people who are involved with Life by Design. To us, happiness is the most important thing a human being can have. It is the pursuit of your values, meaning happiness is an emotion. It's what happens, that feeling that you get while you're pursuing the things that are the most important in your life, and to us, that's the most important thing for a human being to have. That's really it. So Now, here's the paradox with this. With free time, it's one of these things that we all talk about and we all wish we had, and things always get in the way. Oh, if I had more free time, I need some time to rest. You need to rest. You need some downtime. But is that, and of course by free time, and here's his point, by free time, what usually gets lumped into free time is just this mindless drifting that ends up you're either binge watching shows, or you end up spending time on your phone, or you spend time doing other non-focused, non-productive things, right? And again, his argument is always that spending more time with technology, just the fact of the nature of technology. And again, I like this argument for the book. Being on your phone for the sake of being on your phone, or being on social media just for the sake of being on social media, is never good. It's always those things, I'm just going to watch a movie, not because I really want to watch it or because there's a certain purpose. I'm just going to watch it because I have nothing better to do. And it's that type of lack of focus that he argues is what creates this unhappiness. And incidentally, what's even weirder is it creates a desire to do more of the same thing. And I've completely noticed this. There's been times in my life where I have been fortunate enough to actually get some, downtime or free time. And I have spent my downtime and free time doing exactly what he described in the book, binge watching a show on Netflix, flipping through my phone. And when that period was done, I was no more rested. In fact, I was more tired. I was not happier. In fact, I felt probably more apathetic / depressed and more anxious than I did when the days that I've been super busy. There's been way more tasks to do than there's been times. And that's what really got me thinking around this idea. And of course, in the book, he cites, Benjamin Franklin and Abraham Lincoln and just some really great historical figures and how they spent their free time. And he also talks about people who have achieved financial independence, like some Silicon Valley business owners who ended up selling their businesses for large sums of money, and the things that they have been doing and what they've been noticing with their free time. And the things that they've been doing is they've been structuring activities. They're not necessarily important to the overall mission of these people's lives, but they're things that they thought would be cool, or they thought would be interesting, or they thought that they would like to try. So something like playing a musical instrument. On one extreme case, he talks about, I think it was somebody from the Valley who sold their business, and him and his wife bought a house literally in the middle of nowhere, and their lives have become preoccupied with actually taking care of the house. They have to chop firewood, and they have to, go get the meat, and they live like that. Now, I'm not saying that I advocate any of these things, but the thing that I do advocate and that I have noticed from my own personal experience is that when I do have free time, that I am able to channel into something that's productive and joyful to me. Recently, I started playing in a band. So I've played the guitar for a lot of years, and when we first started in chiropractic, because the levels of stress were high and we didn't know what we were doing, and I'm positive if you've been following along, you know the story. I gave up playing the guitar, then I started playing it again a little bit, and the kids came along, and that was a big change to the schedule. So now we have a nice flow in the household. We know what to expect. There's good routine. And I joined a band. I started playing the guitar again. Now, I'm not making money playing the guitar, but I experience a vast amount of joy sitting there productively practicing and seeing my skills improve as I'm learning more songs, as I'm learning musical theory. It's brought me a tremendous amount of joy. I've arbitrarily decided that I'm going to take care of the weeds. I know this sounds so silly. I'm laughing as I'm telling you this, but I'm trying to find productive things to do when I have some free time that bring me joy and that get me doing something other than just lounging around and and wasting time, so to say, because I need time to recharge and reflect. And it's been good. I can say that I'm happier, I do have more energy, and I am experiencing an increased sense of satisfaction and joy doing things where I'm active, and it's not just laying around clicking buttons. So the action step, and what I want you to do is, if you do, again, there's lots of steps. So I guess the first thing to do is be good at scheduling your time. I know that in the past, when we've had Mike on the show, Dr. Mike's talked about block scheduling and how to schedule your time and to make sure that your productivity is in place and that you're getting a lot of things done. This is like a baseline. If you're all over the place with your schedule, then you're probably experiencing a lot of anxiety, or some anxiety as it is, because you don't know what's coming next and what things get done when. So step number one would be to clean up your schedule. And if you find that there's empty patches in your schedule where you're doing nothing, a great suggestion that he makes in the book is to go to a coffee shop for an hour and grab a whole stack of books that you think would be interesting and sit down and start reading them. And something that catches your eye that you think you should pursue, try pursuing those things, right? Other than just clicking and spending your time floating. Now, do I spend any time just floating or laying there? Yeah, I do. But much less. It becomes an hour or half an hour before it's time to go to bed. And it's always productive in the sense that I'm watching a certain show, or I have some downtime to just lay there and to rest and to recuperate. And that's been tremendous. Even in the past, couple weeks, month, I've noticed more stabilization in my moods. I'm a happy person to begin with. I'm positive. I'm focused. And I've noticed that I have more energy, and there's more things that I want to continue to get done. Now, if you visit the show notes page, which is lifebydesign.com/podcast, you'll see in the show notes we've put links to get the book Digital Minimalism, and I've also put links to the Think by Design 30-day challenge, the Think by Design ebook, and a link to Cal Newport, the author of the book's blog. So check all those things out and join the drive to 1 million families worldwide living life by design.